It was a Tuesday, or maybe a Wednesday. The days blur together now, lost in the fog of memory and the weight of what followed. Trying to pinpoint the exact moment when everything shifted, when the ordinary became extraordinary, is like trying to catch smoke. The exact day is lost, a casualty of the strange events, but the date, October 27, 1988, stubbornly remains etched in the collective consciousness. It's a date that those who remember whisper with a mix of fear and disbelief. On that night, under a storm-bruised sky, the kind that seems to swallow the stars whole, something unexplainable happened in Havenwood, a place that until then had been known only for its quiet charm and predictable routines. The rain started just after midnight, a relentless downpour that seemed determined to wash the world away. It was pounding the roofs with a deafening roar and turning the familiar roads into black churning rivers, reflecting the storm-tossed sky above. It was the kind of storm that made you lock your doors, double-check the windows, and hope with a fervent intensity for the first light of morning. A storm that whispered anxieties and stirred up old fears. But amidst the raging storm, no one heard a thing. Not a scream of terror, not a crash of metal against metal. Not even the desperate blare of a car horn cutting through the night. The only sounds were the relentless howl of the wind and the drumming of the rain, a symphony of chaos that masked something far more sinister. The silence that fell was deeper, more profound than any storm could bring, a suffocating blanket that smothered all other sounds. It was a void, an emptiness where the town's usual quiet hum, the gentle thrum of life, should have been resonating. The first to sense that something was terribly wrong, that the world had tilted on its axis, was Al Miller, a seasoned truck driver, a man of the road, who had seen his fair share of strange nights and lonely highways. Havenwood was his usual stop, a familiar beacon in the darkness where he could grab a hot cup of coffee and a slice of pie, but as he crested the hill overlooking the town, instead of the welcoming glow he expected, he saw only an impenetrable darkness. The diner's usually vibrant neon sign, a promise of warmth and companionship, was dark and lifeless. The streetlights, normally casting pools of light on the rain-slicked streets, were extinguished, swallowed by the oppressive blackness. The warm, inviting glow from the windows of houses, usually a testament to lives lived within, was absent. All gone, as if someone had simply flipped a switch and plunged the entire town into an abyss. It was as if the entire valley, Havenwood and all its inhabitants, had been swallowed whole by the insatiable maw of the night. Al slowed his rig, his mind racing, initially attributing the darkness to a widespread power outage, a common enough occurrence in these parts. But the blackness felt different, heavier, more oppressive, unnatural in a way that sent shivers down his spine. He flicked on his high beams, the powerful lights cutting through the rain and the darkness, desperately searching for any sign of life, any indication that he wasn't alone. Nothing, only the relentless rain and the all-consuming darkness. The road ahead seemed to simply vanish into the storm, swallowed by the impenetrable darkness. A cold, primal fear, a feeling he hadn't experienced since he was a child, crept up his spine, raising the hairs on the back of his neck. Al, a man who had driven through blizzards and navigated treacherous mountain passes, didn't dare drive into that darkness. He slammed the truck into reverse, his heart pounding against his ribs like a trapped bird, and with a growing sense of dread, he left Havenwood behind, disappearing into the storm-ravaged night. By morning the town, as he knew it, would be gone, erased from the map, a ghost story whispered in hushed tones. Only the rain, still falling with a mournful persistence, and the unsettling silence remained, a haunting testament to what had been lost. And the world, for those who remembered Havenwood, would never, could never, be quite the same again. The memory of that night would forever cast a long, dark shadow. To understand the disappearance, to truly grasp the magnitude of what happened, we need to rewind. We need to journey back to a time before the silence, before the emptiness, before Havenwood became a ghost of its former self. You have to understand the town. You have to understand its people, its history, its secrets. Only then can you begin to piece together the puzzle of its vanishing. Havenwood was a hidden valley, nestled deep within the embrace of rolling hills and ancient forests. It was a place seemingly untouched by the outside world, a sanctuary of tranquility and tradition. A small, close-knit community of just over 300 people. Everyone knew everyone, their families intertwined through generations of shared history and common experience. Life moved at its own pace, a gentle rhythm dictated by the seasons and the unchanging customs of the town. Pot roast on Tuesdays, a tradition as old as the town itself, filling homes with warmth and the comforting aroma of home-cooked meals. Football on Fridays, where the entire town gathered under the stadium lights, united in their support for the Havenwood Hornets. Church on Sundays, a time for reflection, community, and the reaffirmation of shared values. The town was a patchwork of old brick buildings, remnants of a bygone era, stood proudly alongside more modern structures, a testament to the town's enduring spirit. A single blinking traffic light, a quirky symbol of Havenwood's unhurried way of life, casting a yellow glow on the quiet intersection. And a lopsided gazebo in the square, a gathering place for town meetings, summer concerts, and whispered conversations. Surrounded by dense forests, and a slow, dark river snaking its way through the valley, a silent witness to the town's history and secrets. It felt both safe and isolated, a world unto itself, shielded from the chaos and uncertainty of the outside world. Beneath the surface, old feuds simmered, resentments passed down through generations, threatening to disrupt the town's fragile peace. Secrets whispered in the general store, the heart of the town's social life, where gossip and rumors spread like wildfire. And eccentric characters added color to the quiet streets, their quirks and eccentricities woven into the fabric of Havenwood's identity. There was the herb lady on the edge of the woods, her knowledge of plants and remedies both revered and feared by the townspeople. And the old man convinced the trees were bugged, his paranoia a source of amusement and concern for his neighbors. Havenwood was ordinary, but it was real, a place where life was simple, honest, and deeply rooted in tradition, a place shaped by routine, history, and the stubbornness of its people, their unwavering commitment to their way of life. It was a town that seemed untouched by time, a living relic of a bygone era where the past was always present. But even the most ordinary places can hide extraordinary mysteries, secrets buried deep beneath the surface, waiting to be unearthed. And on that October night, as the leaves turned crimson and gold, and a chill wind swept through the valley, Havenwood's story would become anything but ordinary. Its fate would be sealed, its name forever etched in the annals of the unexplained. The town's charm became its shroud, its quaintness a deceptive mask, concealing a darkness that would consume it whole. And then, it vanished, leaving behind only whispers and shadows, a haunting reminder of what once was. In the week before October 27th, an unsettling feeling began to creep into the hearts of Havenwood's residents. It was a subtle shift at first, a disquieting undercurrent beneath the surface of their ordinary lives. Something strange, something indefinable, settled over Havenwood like a shroud. The air itself seemed to grow heavy, thick with an unseen presence. People grew uneasy, their smiles strained, their conversations hushed. A sense of foreboding hung in the air, a premonition of something terrible about to unfold. Dogs barked at nothing, their frantic cries echoing through the night, disturbing the unnatural silence that had fallen over the town. They sensed something unseen, something that set their primal instincts on edge. The birds fell silent, their cheerful songs replaced by an eerie stillness. The forests, once alive with their melodies, became tombs of quietude. Some felt watched, as if unseen eyes were upon them, scrutinizing their every move. A prickling on the back of the neck became a common sensation, a constant reminder of the unseen presence that lurked just beyond their perception. Old Man Hemlock, the town recluse, a figure of ridicule and fear, was seen muttering about wrong stars, and a door that shouldn't open, his words dismissed as the ramblings of a madman. Most dismissed him, choosing to ignore the unsettling feeling that gnawed at the edges of their minds. But a few felt his fear, recognizing the truth in his wild-eyed pronouncements. They knew something was terribly wrong. Then came the lights, an impossible spectacle that defied explanation, silent orbs, shifting from blue to violet, pulsating with an otherworldly energy, hovering over the ridge, casting long, eerie shadows across the valley below, moving in impossible patterns, defying the laws of physics, dancing in the night sky like celestial marionettes. Teenagers on lovers' lane seeking solace in each other's arms, watched in awe and terror, their youthful bravado replaced by a primal fear. As the lights bathed the valley in an ethereal glow, the landscape transformed into a dreamscape, beautiful and terrifying, then vanished as quickly as they had appeared, leaving behind an unsettling silence and a lingering sense of dread. The day before the disappearance, the final day of normalcy, a low hum filled the town, a sound that resonated deep within the earth itself. a vibration in the bones, a physical manifestation of the growing unease. Tools rattling on workbenches, dishes clattering in cupboards, the mundane objects of everyday life betraying the extraordinary events unfolding, headaches spreading like a contagion, a throbbing ache that mirrored the town's growing anxiety, nausea spreading, a wave of sickness washing over the town, a physical rejection of the unnatural events. The source was everywhere and nowhere, an invisible force permeating every corner of Havenwood. The hum grew louder, more insistent, a deafening drone that threatened to shatter the very foundations of reality. As the sun set, casting long, ominous shadows, the hum reached its crescendo. Dread thickened the air, a palpable weight pressing down on the town, suffocating all hope. Havenwood was holding its breath, bracing itself for the inevitable. The final act was about to begin, the culmination of the strange events that had plagued the town. And no one would be left to tell the tale. Their voices silenced, their memories erased, leaving Havenwood a ghost town, a monument to the unknown. October 26th brought a sunset like no other. Sickly green and blood red streaked the sky. People watched from their porches, unsettled by the unnatural colors. Inside, routines continued, but unease lingered. The hum intensified after dark, pressing in from all sides. The radio was static, the announcer's voice fading in and out. At 9:47 p.m., Sarah Peters called her sister. They talked about birthdays and leaky faucets. Then her sister asked, "What's that humming sound?" Sarah paused. "I don't know, it's getting louder and the lights are flickering funny." A sharp breath, one word, "Oh!" The line went dead. That was the last anyone heard from Havenwood. After that, only silence. The storm rolled in, cloaking the valley. The ordinary became extraordinary by its sudden, absolute end. Havenwood was gone. When dawn broke, revealing an empty valley, the world scrambled for answers. Theories ranged from cult activity to mass poisoning, but no evidence fit, no pamphlets, no chemicals, no signs of struggle, nothing. The supernatural crept in: alien abduction, the strange lights, the humming. Ufologists pointed to classic signs of pre-abduction phenomena. Others whispered of dimensional slips, the town falling through a crack in reality. Maybe Havenwood hadn't been taken, but moved, somewhere just out of reach. Theories multiplied, but none could explain the total silent erasure. The facts defied logic, the mystery deepened, and the world was left with only questions. The official response was disbelief, then chaos. Police, FBI, and military swarmed the valley, cordoning off the site. The town wasn't just empty, it was gone. Buildings, roads, even the gazebo, vanished. Only foundations remained, clean and undisturbed. Forensic teams found no blast marks, no machinery tracks, no evidence of demolition. It was as if the town had been erased. Scattered personal items, shoes, photos, keys, were found in the woods and along the roads. Most chilling were the cars. Every vehicle parked neatly along the highway, doors unlocked, keys inside, wallets and purses left behind. It looked like an orderly evacuation, but to where? The investigation hit a wall. No answers, just data and dead ends. The case was quietly classified, filed away in silence. Havenwood became a forbidden topic. The file was closed, but the mystery was not. The silence grew heavier. Every mystery has a lone witness. For Havenwood, it was David Barrow, a forestry surveyor camped miles away. He saw the storm break, revealing silent, pulsating lights over the valley. The lights merged into a massive dome of violet, enveloping the town. There was no sound, just the eerie, steady glow. Barrow watched as the dome contracted, shrinking to a single, brilliant point. Then with a silent flash, it vanished. The town was gone. At dawn, the valley was empty. No lights, no buildings, nothing. Barrow's story was dismissed as fantasy, buried in the official report, but he saw what no one else did, and he never forgot. Years later, the questions remain. How could an entire town vanish without a trace, no bodies, no evidence, no culprits? The abandoned cars suggest an orderly departure, not panic. Why leave everything behind? The clean foundations and normal air quality dismantle every rational theory. Science offers no answers, only speculation remains. Was it mass hysteria or something beyond comprehension? The truth lies between the explainable and the unbelievable. Havenwood is a vacuum of explanation. We stand at the edge of an abyss, staring into a mystery with no bottom. Havenwood is now a modern myth, a story with no ending. Theories demand leaps of faith, secret experiments, alien abduction, or a slip through reality itself. The town is gone, leaving only a void and a question. The disappearance is no longer a case for police or scientists, it's a question for you. Look at the empty foundations, the abandoned cars, the last words on a dead phone line. Listen to the lone witness and the whispers of the hum. Weigh the impossible against the improbable. What do you believe happened on that stormy October night?